The purpose of this video is to help you identify various research variables. A common purpose statement that you will see is going to be written in the following format. The purpose of this study is to determine a difference or relationship between the independent variable and the dependent variable. Remember that the independent variable is the variable that you're going to manipulate. In your study or in the studies that you're going to read, this is a difference between the control group and also the experimental group. The dependent variable is the outcome variable that's going to be measured between the change from the control and the experimental group. Let's take a look at an example. The purpose statement is as follows. The purpose of this study was to examine if the running surface impacted the running speed during intermittent bouts of speed training. The independent variable is going to be the running surfaces. The dependent variable is going to be the running speeds. So from this purpose statement, we can see that the independent variable, the running surfaces, is what's going to change with the different participants. The running speed is what we're going to measure after each of those running surfaces. Let's look at another. The purpose of our study was to report the acute effects of sleeper stretches on posterior and rotational shoulder range of motion. Our independent variable is going to be sleeper stretches, and our dependent variable is going to be the posterior and rotational shoulder range of motion. So let's try one yourself. The purpose of this investigation was to examine participation in various formal and informal continuing education activities on athletic training professional practice. The independent variable will be participation in formal and informal continuing ed. The dependent variable will be athletic training professional practice. Let's look at another. The purpose of the study was to examine the effects of 11 days of raw and heated ginger supplementation on muscle pain. The independent variable will be ginger supplementation. In this example, we have two levels. One would be heated and one would be raw. The dependent variable would be muscle pain. Let's look at another. The purpose of this study was to determine the impact of the participants' social support networks on therapeutic gains of participants of an adventure therapy program. The independent variable will be the social support network. The dependent variable will be the therapeutic gains. Let's look at another. The purpose of this study was to determine if Doppler ultrasound could be used to ascertain blood flow measurements in the carotid and femoral arteries during a tilt table test. The independent variable will be the tilt table test. Now this one was a little difficult. In this example, the tilt table test will be the independent variable because we're going to see two different groups. One that will be using the tilt table test, the other will not be. All participants will use Doppler ultrasound, so if you said Doppler ultrasound, that's why that's not the independent variable. The dependent variable will be the blood flow measurements. And in this example, we have two levels, the carotid and femoral arteries. In this example, the purpose of the study was to explore the sexual behavior and knowledge of STI prevention of tour guides in the city of Cuzco, a main tourist center in Peru, to describe the prevalence of serum markers of select STIs. The independent variable will be the knowledge and behavior of STIs. The dependent variable will be the prevalence of serum markers of those select STIs. In this example here, the purpose of the study was to identify the use of ginger as a natural remedy and a potential analgesic agent for delayed onset muscle soreness, also called DOMS. The independent variable will be the use of ginger. The dependent variable will be the development or prevalence of DOMS. In this last example here, the purpose of the study was to determine the effects of load used in training to improve muscular power and dynamic athletic performance. The independent variable will be the load used during training. The dependent variable will be muscular power and dynamic athletic performance. Now it's your turn. Take a look at your 6 areas of research interest that you have identified and identify the variables. Identify the independent variable, identify the dependent variable, and also if you have multiple levels, identify the levels of those variables.